So I have a question. Do you think we should start this podcast with like a big over-the-top loud fanfare for my intro? All camp and over the top? Let me tell you a story why I'm asking this. Because I remember I was sat in the Vauxhall Tavern and I was supporting a friend who was performing comedy once, and just before she came on, this tall, really long drag queen came on stage singing One Night Only, the disco stage Broadway track. And that introduction, I just really would like that. And then little Ashley appears out of nowhere and I'm like, sup?
Oh my God!
So there we go, there's the big start. So welcome to the show. I don't know what day it is again, but we made it. Relief, breathe a sigh of relief. We made it. We're here again together. How have you been? I took my first-ish drive in about 8 to 9 weeks. I'm driving really bad. I'm gonna need a new clutch. I took a drive to visit my Avon lady. I owed her money and I was in fear, but all settled. My debt has been paid. Oh, it's like driving to the new world. It's really weird. When you haven't been out for so long and then you get in the car and start driving, it's really bizarre. While driving, because she lives about, 15 minutes from my house, I started to realise how much I look at pedestrians. It's just crazy. You just start looking and thinking, oh, you look good. Or I'm thinking, are you single? Or what would you look like if you was with me? You know, just looking at people that decorate your world, basically, when you're driving. Only a select certain type of people. And of course, the last thought that always comes into mind, can you look at me as well? They're probably not, because I'm in an orange car. So while most of us have been stuck in lockdown not doing much, I came across this story in the Sun newspaper. So dozens of people have recently been treated for sex addiction by the NHS, that's the National Health Service. You know, we're in England, we're all clapping for them on Thursday. So this story made papers because one of the patients was 90 years old. That's your grandfather. That's why you got 25 aunties and uncles. Anyway, statistics from the NHS Digital show how many times medics have seen patients whose medical problems are thought to be linked to excessive sex drive. Now, I'm not making light or any kind of joke at this as such, but how are these people coping during lockdown? My gag in the last podcast was, do you think they're doing it through the letterbox? I don't know how 2 women would do that. Anyway, back to the survey. 20 men and 7 women. 4 out of those appointments were people aged in their 70s. So basically what that means is 20 men and 7 women. There was more men who had sex addiction than women in this study. So I investigated OAP porn to see what was going on, because clearly something is going on. Now I'm going to give a shout out to some of my favourite GILF porn stars that I discovered on my search for this granny porn extravaganza. Okay, so my first granny porn shout out goes to, I'm going to include men as well, because this survey there was more sex addicts and there's a 90-year-old sex addict, so we're going to go to men. But first, our first shout out is to Granny Alice. Our first shout out is to Granny Alice. Now, she is a gift porn star in her late 60s. Apparently, I'm reading this from a website called Red Bled. It's I'll let you search that yourself. So in just a few years, Alice will be 70. Oh, she's blonde and she's got great neck action. Let's move on to someone else. Now this lady looks English. Oh no, she's opening her dressing gown as I speak to you. Her name is Tigger, spelled Tigger. White lady, brown bob, possibly dyed. Absolutely huge body part. So listen to this, the description on redbled.com. It's called, your grandmother tells you to visit an old friend and bring back home the handmade pie. You enter the bedroom and see this view. Well, this is why people over 70 and that 90-year-old man have sex addictions. We're going to bring you one more. So I wanted to add some male porn stars just to keep it balanced. Now I found Adam Russo because we're looking at the OAP. He's not an OAP, but he, could be in that neighbourhood, lives adjacent to that neighbourhood. as some of the favourites ones for the shout out for the older sex addiction people. So Adam Russo, if you want to check his porn out, that's definitely one to check out. Now, I'm not just here to talk about porn stars and have a little giggle with you. I have some information on sex addiction. So just in case you didn't know, sex addiction is characterised as compulsive engagement in sexual activity, regardless of the consequences. So it's not as fun as it may sound or as possibly painful as it sounds. Especially when a tank is empty and you've got to keep going, so there's the pain. Did you know though, Michael Douglas, who is now 75, was labelled a sex addict in the 90s? Was he still married to that young wife back then? I wonder what goes on in their house. I might have to look that up. Now, just in case you are listening to this with one hand, sex addiction starts, or it can start, with pornography, online encounters, and then may progress to seeing people offline, aka hookups, drive-bys, and those kind of messy things. We're going to move on now. So during this lockdown period, we're all stuck inside. Well, most of us. Have you been watching people's TikToks? They seem to be recording these TikTok videos on the app TikTok and posting on Instagram and Facebook, and I'm going to be really honest with you, I can't stand it. Throughout this whole lockdown 8-9 week period, we've seen stupid people on the news, on our usual social medias. We would look outside the window, we see stupid people. The last thing I want to do is see another app with people doing something stupid. Which brings us to Jason Derulo. You know, he sings his name every time he's in a song, like Jason Derulo. Anyway, let's talk about this. So before the coronavirus was around, do you remember the viral video of the Chinese lady with the comb, or actually it's corn. She had corn on the cob and it was attached to a drill, and then she made the drill go round and her teeth were like one of those buck-tooth animals, and she would have the drill go round and her teeth would pick the corn from the cob. And of course, in the video, she lost her teeth. Well, I'm laughing already, because you know what's going to come. During COVID-19, people have become stupid, and they've taken their stupidity to TikTok, and they've started a challenge called the Corn Challenge. Thank God I've only seen one stupid challenge like this. Now, stupidity, I've written here, is actually universal. So anyone can suffer stupidity. Now, Jason Derulo, several of his front teeth appear to be chipped. Now, when I watched this video and read the story online, I really did hope though he had those Simon Cowell fake veneer, really, really white teeth. So more than 1.2 million people have seen the video since it was posted on Instagram and Jason's TikTok. Yes, Jason put a corn on the drill, or a hand screwdriver. That sounds so wrong. And he put the corn to his mouth. And he put it to his teeth, and it made the drill go round and round, and it chipped his tooth. Took off a piece of his tooth. Exactly. Stupidity. Why are you doing that? You have enough just take off your top. You're going to get enough attention as it is. Sing your name some more, like Jason Derulo stuff. Do a song. Anything, but why mess up your teeth? Anyway, I can tell you, Jason has since been spotted in his car in Los Angeles sporting the perfect row of white teeth. So there we go. Fingers crossed his teeth were those plastic Simon Cowell veneers. Go Jason. I like his music anyway. If this was a radio show, I would definitely play some of his music now. Am I the only one that really wants this to be over, this whole lockdown COVID situation? While I was recording this podcast, I'm just looking on my Facebook, and I'm not going to point out who it is. So they've got a post, they're helping to advertise someone's face mask, a fashion house, I guess. And they've got a spring collection of face masks. Am I the only one that finds that so depressing? So I do not want life to continue, hence why I have not purchased a face mask or a fashionable one. I've purchased a hat. Yes, I know. But it's... spring collection of face masks. That means this is going to go on until Christmas. If we have Christmas face masks, I don't think I can personally go on. Now, back in the day, I used to love Kim Kardashian. We're born on the same day. We're both born on the 21st of October, so maybe that's some sort of sign, but I used to love Kim Kardashian now. Between you and I, a boy used to sell her DVD of Ray J in school. I remember buying it. That's before we had internet to look it up on Pornhub. Now, let's have a look at this story, because it's Kim Kardashian related, and I just wanted to tell you about my backstory of her porn past. So, the reality star has been promoting her new line of face masks. See? Fashionable face mask. It's driving me crazy. I don't want fashionable face masks. Anyway, It's not what face mask at all. She's been promoting her new line of fashionable face mask on Twitter, describing as coming in 5 shades of nude. Also don't like nude colours, but that's another thing. But one of these 5 colours is solid black. Like black as in the pen you write with. It's been described as onyx on the Skims website. It's where Kim Kardashian sells all these body shaping, again, nude coloured clothing. So there's been accusations directed at Kim Kardashian of casual racism, according to some on social media, who pointed out that one of the masks were not the right nude shade for a black model. The Skims site has now changed the model and the mask she wears. Oh dear, Kim. By the way, Kim Kardashian is married to a black man and has children that have black heritage. So somebody in her circle should have known better. So the model, the black model, is seen striking a pose wearing a mask in the colour black. Black like your biro, which clearly is not nude for her skin tone. Are we seeing some ignorance here? Now, calling Kim out for the tone-deaf marketing, one follower hit out, the nude shade for the black model is inaccurate, offensive, and culturally out of touch. Duh. I added the duh. I feel it's so ridiculous. The black model is seen striking a pose wearing a full face mask in the colour black, which is clearly not nude or her skin tone. Not good. Another fan, alleged fan, has also pointed out the fact that black is not nude for brown skin. Oh dear, Kim Kardashian. I still hate fashionable face masks. You are not being safe and stylish. You just look like a criminal. I dislike it. But if it's keeping you safe, yes. But I don't want we have Christmas jumpers. We are not having Christmas face masks. I'm taking a stand against that. So you may have noticed this podcast is called Dumped in Lockdown, Fire in the DMs and OAP porn. So let's head to the latter part. So have you been kicked to the curb this lockdown period? Are you tasting pavement? Now I have to state this is not 100% about me. I know most of it is, but this is half story, half truth, and some exaggeration thrown in. You can decide which part is which. So there's a new term being used online. So if you've been dumped during lockdown, one of them is called face tumped and the other is house pumped. I think house pumped sounds like an orgy. How was your love life been during lockdown? I have to tell you, my Instagram DMs have been on fire and I have not been asking for any kind of attention. Please note that down. I do not post any topless pictures at all. But hey ho, the message is I have been asked recently to do videos in my underwear. I don't really wear underwear, so that wouldn't be a very good video to do or to watch. I have been asked if I'm married. Someone in a different country has messaged me saying they'd like to get to know me and how attractive I am, which is a nice compliment, but hey ho, we're in lockdown. I'm not going to go to your country. You don't come into mine. But hey ho, the DMs have been on fire. There's many more stories. And of course, you may have been dumped in lockdown. So, I may actually ask you to throw out and to leave comments on wherever you're listening to this. How do you let people down gently? Because these DMs that have been on fire are going to continue because people are in lockdown, they're crazy, they're horny, there's pent up energy, there's people's pictures on social media. How do you let someone down gently and say, no thank you, I'm not married, I'm desperately single, but I'm not interested in you? Anyway, of course, we have to keep it celebrity-ish. Leave my DMs alone and head over to these celebrities because loads of celebrities have also been chucked or are also terminally single. So I have compiled a list of the guys and girls you may want to slide into their DMs and start chatting to them. So first up we have Wes Nelson and Arabella Chi. Now I don't know who she is, but what a cool name. I love that name, Arabella Chi. It sounds so different and exciting. But anyway, they have broken up. But since the breakup, I'm not sure when it is, but they have broken up during the lockdown period. The pair have been sharing solo pictures of themselves on their social media. So definitely go out there and find your celebrity rebound, whether it's Wes Nelson is your flavour or Arabella Chi in that exciting name. How do you shorten that name? Arab? You call her Arab? No, you can't call her Arab. Maybe you call her Bella. I don't know. I just love that name. Because Arabella is quite a mouthful to say. especially we're talking about rebounds and you may be in the throes of passion. It's just a really long name, but I love that name. Anyway, next on our celebrity single kick to the curb, tasting pavement list, we have for you Stacey Dash and her husband. Now, his name is insignificant because, hey, we are talking about Dion from Clueless. Yes, Dion. Oh, did we not all love Stacey Dash back then? Well, last year, let me give you the tea. She was arrested in Florida on a domestic battery charge for pushing and slapping a man across the face following a verbal argument. Again, I just can't stop thinking about Dion in Clueless. Who was her blonde friend, the main girl, Cher? Oh, two vacuous bimbos. That was a good show. And the film. Anyway, they had a verbal argument and she hit this man, who was her husband. Now, they asked, they've separated, but I want to warn you, before you slide into Dion, aka Stacey Dash's DMs. By the way, Stacey Dash is in her 50s and is looking absolutely incredible. Now, just a word of warning before you slide into those celebrity DMs, Stacey, aka Dion, is now a conservative political commentator. So that may not be your flavour. You may not swing that way to the right. So just be careful before you slide in. That's it. That's the end of the podcast. Thank you so much for listening this week. Those of you that listened to the first podcast, oh, the feedback. You guys made me laugh. There was one man who listened. He said he blushed. I think this week you may just completely pass out. We're going to end on a big finish because who wants a boring end? Thank you so much for listening. Be back next week.